I got from this book was with Reb Shalom Shvadran. This is a great art scroll book called Riding the Tracks, short stories about big heroes. The story goes back to Purim Day. We all can't wait for Purim. We just had a beautiful Chanukah. I hope everyone, after the candles were lit, spent some time learning Torah and praying near the candles, not too near because you're not supposed to benefit from the lights, but I'm sure you added to the Kedusha of your home by praying at that 8 Ratzon for all types of things. I know myself, I have to find a new place to live because I have to move out of the house where I'm in now. So I said a special prayer here, which is called Tefillah Limtziat Dira. A prayer, Hashem, help us find a new house, a new place to live. But the point is that it's a very big 8 Ratzon on Chanukah to pray. And people, I hope that they made the most of it. It's also a great time to learn extra Torah, because the Yevanim were trying to erase the Torah, so we have to show that the Yevanim did not win. But anyway, getting back to the story. It was Purim in Yerushalayim. The story probably happened about 50 years ago. And everyone was so happy. Everyone was dancing in the streets. Maybe the story actually happened like 30 years ago. But anyway, the children were walking in the streets with Mishlach notes that they have to give out to family and to friends and to neighbors and to Rabbis and to Moras. And there was all types of children with costumes masquerading. I'm sure some looked like clowns and some looked like Mordechai Tzaddik, Mordechai Yehudi, maybe riding on a horse. I'm sure many of them look like Esther HaMalka. Perhaps some even look like Haman and Vashti. I'm not sure. And Achashverosh. But whatever the story is, there was all types of children dressed up as the Minhag Yisrael to dress up on Purim. Not that it's not the kind of Minhag that you have to do it, but it's accepted that people do sometimes get dressed up on Purim, I myself included. And one year I dressed up like a farmer keeping Shemitah. I had blue trousers and a red flannel shirt and a yellow straw hat. I really looked like I was ready to tackle any farm. Anyway, so you can imagine the ruach in the street was very beautiful. Many bachurim dancing in the streets, maybe a little intoxicated. I don't think they got really shikr, maybe a little drink a little bit. And they sing songs, and it's beautiful. Everyone's singing like Hudemaita Orav Simcha. For the Jewish people, there was a great joy, a great happiness. And I'm sure there were many people that were running to hear Kriyat Megillat Esther. If they didn't hear it in the night, in the morning, they have to go find a place to hear it. It was a beautiful, beautiful Purim day, filled with happiness and joy. It turns out there was one child, a little girl, who had to deliver a very modest and simple Mishlach Manot to the Gadol Hadar, one of the Gadolei Hadar, the famous Maggid of Yerushalayim, Reb Shalom Shvadran, who was famous to entertain and inspire Jews with his beautiful stories and tales and talks of Musar. And he also had so many Mishalim that would make people get more Yirat Shamayim. As a matter of fact, lucky were the people that heard him as he traveled around the world from Jewish community to Jewish community, and he would speak in Yiddish, and people would gather Friday nights, and they would pack into houses and into shuls to hear the holy words of this great tzaddik and chacham. It turns out, as the girl came into his house, she was a little bit nervous to meet one of the great giants of the generation, and somehow her bottle of wine that she was holding in one hand and the cake she was holding in the others was a little bit shaking because she was a little nervous. And she dropped this bottle of wine. The glass shattered and the wine flowed all over the rabbi's floor in his apartment. Ouch! She thought to herself, I wish I didn't do that. Oh, I knew I was too young to hold this heavy bottle of wine. And she was really about to turn as red in the face as the red of the wine. And the rabbi realized, don't hurt anyone's feelings. You have to kamocha. I must say something so she shouldn't feel bad. So the rabbi said, Baruch Hashem, do you know the Gemara says that any Jewish home that doesn't have wine flow in it like water, it's not having bracha. in a Jewish home, wine should flow just like water, which really means there should be many samachot. You're always pouring wine. We hope there's lots of happy occasions. So the rabbi said, thank you. On Purim, such a holy day, my house is flowing with wine. That's surely a sign of bracha. Thank you so much for adding to the bracha of our home. I know this will be a good sign for the year. And the rabbi said it so sincerely that the girl actually fell for the story, and she actually went home telling her parents, boy, I made the rabbi so happy today. He said that I made his house flow with wine, and now his house will flow with simachot and berachot. I'm not so sure if the rabbi was as happy as he sounded, but he didn't want to look sad. If Zerua looked sad, she would have felt bad. So on purpose, he said, there's a chazal that says a Jewish home should flow with wine, which is a good thing to know. If you ever spill wine, don't feel bad. Lucky is a home that wine flows in it like water, is a sign of bracha. Some people even pour wine extra when they fill up the Havdalah cup, or maybe even Kiddush cup. They let it overflow as a sign, Hashem, let our home flow with simachot. Okay, now, I'm going to tell you a story about somebody who might have acted like he wasn't careful to someone's feelings, but if you really mature and think about it, he wasn't so mean at all. This story happened with me when I was a little kid. I was in yeshiva and in camp, Kol Torah, and in Tal's Yeshiva, and we had a dormitory, and we would sleep in this dormitory, and they had someone called the OD. OD means on duty. He was basically this tall guy who would walk around at night and make sure that everyone was going to sleep on time, because it's very hard to wake up kids in the morning to go to school or to shul. If they went to sleep so late, they can't even move their body. They feel like they're dead, tired. So this guy, the OD, had a job, and I still remember his name was Rabbi Zev. Zev's job was to walk around the dormitory and pass each room and listen in. If there was talking, he would warn once, shh. If you were talking again after curfew was 10:30. That's what time curfew was. Actually, it was pretty late. It was probably more like 10 o'clock. And guess what? If he caught you a second time, he would tell you, come here. You're standing up against the wall with your nose against the wall. Now, you might think he's mean to make somebody stand for 5 minutes against the wall with his nose against the wall, and you weren't allowed to move your nose off the wall. You know how come? He took a coin, like a nickel, and he put it between your nose and the wall. So now if you move to see which of your friends was walking by to go to the bathroom, the nickel would fall, and he would say, okay, now 5 minutes again. Oh my gosh, you have to have your hands behind your back, almost like a prisoner in jail, and you have to have your nose holding up the nickel, or making sure it doesn't fall from the wall. And guess what? At first I thought he was so mean. What happened to Bob talking about? Then I realized he's not mean. He was trying to teach the kid, you have to go to sleep early. If you don't go to sleep early, how are you going to wake up in the morning and say the Birchot HaShachar on time? How are you going to get up to learn Torah? You might come late to school because you went to sleep too late because you were playing games. So that's why this guy, the OD, might look mean, but not necessarily. So sometimes if your parents scream at you, go to sleep, stop talking, it's not mean. They know that you're a child. The child needs to sleep. So I made a new rule in my house. From now on, Bli Neder, after a certain amount of time, let's say 10 o'clock, no talking, unless emergency. This way, it makes you do your homework early, it makes sure you're quiet, just go to sleep, finish reading your storybooks, and then guess what? You'll sleep better, you'll have a better time waking up in the morning, won't be so fighting against the pillow, I want to go back to sleep, and of course, you'll learn better that day. All right, so let's try to be careful and learn from the rabbi, not to hurt people's feelings, and even if you think your friend is a baby, don't call him that.
You said that.
Be sensitive to people's feelings. Don't say mean things to them. If someone does bad in sports, don't make fun of him. Big deal. If you let him practice, maybe one day he'll be the best in the class. So let's think twice before we hurt our friends' feelings even once. Recess.